I'm sure we've all heard the words 6-7 be muttered before. We live in a day and age where we are surrounded by technology, social media, and young children. We all must be thinking, who said these words? Satan, and let me tell you why. We have all heard of what's 9 plus 10? 21, you stupid. This is the same exact pattern, a generational number. Sort of how 6-9 was built around 2019 and like really solidified in society. 6-7 is the 2025 version of this. And how does this link to Satan? Well, let me explain it. When we look at the Bible or any sort of media, there is always bad. It's what we call sins. But now I'm going to look at this from a Christianity point of view, as I'm specifically referencing Satan in this case. Hey, yo, Rufus. Rufy. It's good dog. We have the 7 sins. Now, there's a lot. We've got greed, gluttony, lust. We've got greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth, and pride. Fuck you, Google AI. Now, we might be thinking, how did this occur? Well, we all know it starts off with the imposter who said that. Well, it all starts when God said, let there be light. And next thing you know, we have the robot from WALL-E eating $1 trillion company. This then leads to our human desire to want to do things that are outside of what's correct. So what did this kid do? In the video that I mentioned earlier, this kid, he sees his chance with the camera turning, he turns and 6-7 is infected and pollutes our societies all over the world. Little kids, 6-7! The Fortnite item shop, 6-7! My nightmares and Spotify Premium. Holy Spotify Premium is This allows for ad-free listening, and now you might be thinking this is a promotion for Spotify. I wish I had that money. I do not. Instead, what I'm referring to is that it allowed me to listen to Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso 67 times, which then made my listening age 67 because I listened to Queen like 4 times. I am sat in the school canteen looking at it with my friends just for them to go, oh my goodness, it's gonna be 6-7. I'm like, haha, funny, kill yourself. I open my Wrapped, what does it say? Your listening age, 6-7. Espresso, 6-7. I've never felt so miserable in my life. My mum offered me a Christmas gift. It was a mug or something that said 6-7 on it. I cannot escape it. It is a nightmare. Not only that, but let me actually display it to you. I am of the height of 6'7". Look at me. My head is licking the door. I can't escape it. My nightmares are fueled. You see this man on my monitor right here? Yeah, he's the worst thing ever. He teases me daily on Discord about the fact that my height is 6'7". Holy dude. In general relations though, what does this do to society? When you introduce a new product to the market, you get something like the iPhone from 2007. Now, people were crazy about this because Apple was already a known company. They made the Macintosh, and people wanted in. They saw this and they were like, wow, that is incredible. We have phones, but not to this standard. So they saw the phone. What did they do? They bought. Sort of how my friend buys any more game that has a in it. Just because it's funny. That's what he says until I see him to the most crazy thing I've ever seen, such as... So what happens when people buy? We start to go through something we call the product life cycle. This is when a progressive increase happens, growth occurs, and then it stagnates. We don't call it stagnation though. We call it something I forgot. I don't really care. Then we get a decline. For example, we got the 9 plus 10 equals 21 meme. We got the release of the video, then it increases, then we get the stagnation at the top, and it declined. I still think it's funny, but each their own. Now, how does this occur to 6-7? Well, we can extrapolate an answer using previous data to then forecast what we want ahead of time. Right now, we are at the 6-7 growth. We see this with things such as the Fortnite item shop and other sort of similar memes where people are posting 6-7 or remaking it to make things such as 6 or 2 or whatever. From here, we start to get growth, which can then lead to stagnation. Now, when you get to stagnation, what actually occurs is you get a drop, or you can spot a golden opportunity where you can choose to extend the market. This is seen with things such as Pepsi Max, where they rebranded, started releasing cherry, things like that. So what is this? We could argue that the memes of 68 or like 2 are them trying to cope with the decline that is going to come. Instead, they want to prolong the life cycle of 6-7. So when we look at the way a product actually goes from this point and you get the decline, it dies. I'll give you an example. When was the last time you heard 1-2 buck on my shoe? Exactly, you haven't. This proves I'm correct. Well, I've explained all this and you might be thinking, how does this actually all relate? Well, when we look at it at a surface level, things such as the 6-7 emote in Fortnite link to Epic Games. Now, Epic Games, as we know, is a money-hungry, just farming content type of company. They don't care about quality. They'll just release what makes them money. Does this sound familiar? That's correct. Greed. For those of you thinking greed actually is food, you're wrong. That's gluttony. Greed is money. I hope. I don't know. Don't believe me. However, I am factually correct. If I'm correct, if I'm wrong, no, I was lied to. Now, this shows Satan made 6-7 because when we look at it from a biblical perspective, we actually see that this greed that he created by feeding Eve the apple is just 6-7 in disguise. And the thing is, as a society, we haven't seen a meme like this thrive for a very, very long time. The last thing I can think of is 21. Now, does that sound familiar? Another number being used to grow and create a new market. They're just trying to create a niche. They want more merch. They want to make more money. It all just becomes one big circle. And I hate Spotify Wrapped. I don't care what happens. If it's 6-7 again next year, it is rigged.